What's up, Silver Screen Dude? So once again, I'm continuing this week in celebration of the 3,000 subscriber count I got. I'm not doing a movie review, I know it's Thursday, but I promised you in the video I did on Tuesday, please click the link above if you want to see the 3,000 sub celebration, the Ask Me Anything video. But I did say on that video that on Thursday and Saturday this week, I would be doing one of the two videos, 10 movies I love that everyone else hates. Now, for this one, I'm not going with the angle of guilty movie pleasures, whereby I acknowledge that the movies are terrible, although I watch them out of pure guilty entertainment. No, I actually think, although this might shock a lot of you when you see some of the selections I've made, these are genuinely movies that I really love, and I will explain to you why. I do acknowledge that, especially with some of them, that there are serious problems with them, but because of where I was in my life, because of what a franchise represents to me, for various different elements, these are movies that I really like. So here are 10 movies that I love that everyone else seems to hate. My first entry, Jaws 4. Now this is arguably the dumbest of all of the 10 movies that I've got, and that's not saying much when you see some of the others that will be on this list. Now, this is going to be the one exception where I acknowledge that Jaws 4 is not a good movie. Just to clear things up, Jaws 1, my second favourite movie of all time. Jaws 2, I tried to do what the first did, but just went too heavy on the shark and missed the point of what the first one was, which is not showing the shark is what makes it scary. 3, I believe to be genuinely the worst of the bunch, going 3D and stupid. This wasn't better though. 4 was a dumb movie. I mean, it was called Jaws 4 The Revenge, whereby this great white has somehow become vengeful of the Brody family killing other great whites and is going after them and is going into a place like the Caribbean. It's terrible. But the reason I love this movie is because when I was growing up, I didn't see Jaws until I was about 9 or 10, but I saw Jaws 4 when I was much younger. And obviously Jaws 4 is not a scary movie, so unlike Jaws 1, which is fucking terrifying, Jaws 4 is not scary, so it didn't scar me. Now, but what Jaws 4 did do was absolutely fascinate me with the underwater world, because they did a lot, because of the technology at the time had advanced a bit since Jaws 1, so they didn't not show the shark. They showed a lot of the shark. Now granted, the shark looked faked as all hell, but by showing the shark, what they were inadvertently doing was showing a lot of scuba divers underwater. Now for those of you who know me personally, and for those of you who have known me a while, you know that I am a scuba diving instructor and actually spent the last 12 years of my life doing that. So for that reason, Jaws 4 influenced me to become a scuba diver. It fascinated me with sharks. It fascinated me with the underwater world. Although it's not a good movie, it had an impact on my life by opening my eyes to the ocean, because it's just where I was at the time. I think I might have been 5 or 6 when I watched Jaws 4, and yeah, it just clicked. So Jaws 4 is my number 10. Transformers Revenge of the Fallen is my 9th choice, and I appreciate this one's probably going to need some defending. Now, you've heard me rant again and again and again about the Transformers franchise. If you're a regular watcher, you know how much I love the Transformers brand and the IP. You know that I also believe that numbers 1, 2, and 3 are actually watchable, if not good movies. Now, the thing about the first one is that it's genuinely universally agreed to be a very watchable movie. The third one people say is the second best. There's a lot of hatred for the second one though, Revenge of the Fallen. Now, I'm not in denial here. I actually think there's a lot of redeeming features in that. I think that, as always, they make the same mistakes. They make Megatron too much of a side villain and make the Fallen the main villain, which is dumb. But they brought in those really racist Transformers Skid and Mudflap or whatever they were called. I mean, terrible. There was a lot of bad in this movie. But at the same time, there was a lot of good. Where unlike in the following installments, namely 4 and 5, where the focus seems to be on these humans who we don't care about, Shia LaBeouf is actually a character who we like in the movie. Sam Witwicky, we like him. And Shia LaBeouf is a very good actor, in my humble opinion. And there was enough for a Transformers fanboy like me to geek out on. Seeing Devastator ripping apart a pyramid. Seeing, and I'm sorry, to this day, of all the 5 movies, I believe Transformers 2 to have the best fight of any of them. That fight in the forest where Optimus Prime goes head to head against 3 or 4 Decepticons and it ends in his death. Obviously he gets revived, I know that. But, oh, it was good. That fight alone was worth the price of admission. And yeah, the story doesn't float, I know that, but the action, what I thought was an improvement on the first. The camera got brought back, it was a lot more easy to follow the action. The story didn't bother me or insult me anywhere near as much as the 4th and 5th did. Was it a perfectly flowing movie? No. Is it Michael Bay, getting into a wrong rhythm with the Transformers? Yeah, but there was a lot of good in this that I, as a Transformers fan, appreciate. So there. My 8th pick is The Village. This one, I don't understand where the hate comes from. Now, on Shyamalan, actually, I do mention some of his movies that I hate, that everyone else loves, which you can check out in my video this coming Saturday. If you're not watching this week, there'll be a link up here. But The Village, I actually think's a good movie, and the twist at the end, I mean, maybe I'm an idiot, but I did not see that twist coming. And I actually thought it was a very, very well done twist. It worked for me. The idea of this community keeping people in a mindset that they're living in a certain time period, but then it actually transpires, spoiler. Okay, so it transpires that the twist at the end, they're actually living in modern time, but the community has actually kept them almost gated and has kept them from wandering the village with this myth of these monsters who are going to hunt them. Now, for all the while, as the audience, we're believing in this myth, and it almost seems like a sort of borderline horror monster movie, and the monsters are legitimately quite unsettling and not very pleasant, and they make you feel quite vulnerable. And then the twist happened and I kind of felt, holy shit, did not see that coming. So for that reason, the twist worked. Everything before the twist for me worked. I liked the acting in it. I thought Bryce Dallas Howard played a blind girl very well. Adrian Brody I thought was very solid in it. I mean, this movie worked for me. I don't know where the hate comes from. Quite frankly, how you can hate this and then love movies like Signs, but I can't get my head around. So Village is my number 8. Yeah, my number 7 is Sucker Punch. Now this one again comes in for some serious hatred. Now I rewatch it and I always try and force myself to say that the story makes sense. Does it? No, ultimately it doesn't. The main protagonist, female lead who you're following throughout the movie, it turns out that she's actually not the main character towards the end. They try and do this weird subliminal messaging with the revelation of what's actually going on in her life, and it didn't work. Bottom line is it was a big mess. But the creativity, and I'm a guy who can appreciate characters, I can appreciate story, I can appreciate music, I can appreciate effects, I can appreciate film as a whole package. But if a film doesn't work, I'm also able to appreciate those various elements on an individual basis, and that's very much the case with Sucker Punch. I feel that the effects in that I thought were gorgeous, and I thought the set pieces, her fighting the giant samurai, her fighting the dragon, her going on that bullet train that was going to blow up the city. I mean, did it make sense? No. But was it fun to look at? Yeah, man, I really liked it. It all unraveled and fell apart, obviously, at the end of the movie. But up until the ending, I really liked this movie, and I really liked the big action set pieces in it. So for that reason, I've got to say that I like Sucker Punch. My 6th pick is a movie that most people I would believe have probably not seen, and those who have seen it probably say it's a terrible horror movie. For some reason, it worked for me, and it's Darkness Falls. It's essentially a movie about a small town, because these horror movies always have to happen in small little white picket fence towns, don't they? But it's about a witch haunting a town. Now this witch cannot come into the light, so it's almost this vampiric witch, although she's not a vampire, but she has qualities that are vampire-esque. And she will hit you when you're in the shadows. Now, it played on this inherent fear. I think we all have it as human beings growing up, this inherent fear of what's beyond our field of vision, what's actually lurking in the darkness, you know, the boogeyman, the monster under the bed and all that. And this movie played on that fear that we have as human beings and said, well, actually what's lurking beyond the darkness is this nasty fucking witch who will kill you if you step out of the light and into the darkness. And it wasn't jump scares, and it wasn't a psychological horror movie either, but it was very creative in the way that this witch literally blasted the hell out of people and killed them from out of nowhere in moments where you really didn't expect it. And for all intents and purposes, it scared me. I didn't think it would. It's a borderline B movie, argument to be made that it actually is a B movie. But it still scared me. And if a horror movie can do that, it's done its job. And I thought, instead of going down the traditional tried and tested vampire, zombie, werewolf, ghost route, or creepy mother or creepy child, witch, why not? We don't get many witch horror movies, and witch horror movies apparently scare me. So yeah, Darkness Falls makes my list, and I would say it's a movie that I love that a lot of people hate. My fifth choice is going to be Anaconda. Now, this is as quintessential a B movie as it gets. Essentially, it's the story of a group of cinematographers going into the Amazon basin to film a lost tribe. Now, they're going on this dinghy. There's various second grade actors. You know, Jennifer Lopez is in there. I don't think anyone would say she's A grade, but she's perfectly serviceable. Ice Cube is in there. Pretty much looks like he's just playing Ice Cube. Jon Voight's in there in a quite convincing role. Eric Stoltz is in there. Pete Postlethwaite, I believe, is in there. But yeah, the ensemble cast work. But what's the story actually about? Essentially, think of it as Jaws, but instead of being a shark, it's a big fucking anaconda. It's a snake. So snakes don't scare me. Just throw that off the bat. This didn't work because I've got an inherent fear of snakes and it tapped into that. Snakes have never bothered me. Terrified of spiders, snakes don't do it for me. But they're cool. I always found snakes to be quite cool. You can see there's a bit of a nature theme going on here with my video here. But I liked Anaconda. I liked the way that, you know, they heavily borrowed from Jaws. Instead of having that shark vision with the dun 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 dun, it was actually now snake vision. So it was this slithering, slimy, you know, menacing camera that was following people. I liked the way that the snake was sometimes going slow and then it would shoot out just like a real snake does. Did the snake look fake as all hell? Yeah. But I kind of like this very B-movie adventure of this group of explorers and travelers and documentarists going in deep into the Amazon jungle and basically biting off more than they could chew. Very cool movie, in my opinion. And I know there's a lot of hate for it out there, but I like it. My fourth choice is The 13th Warrior. Now, this is a movie that it falls a little bit into the Darkness Falls territory because not a lot of people have seen it, but the people who have genuinely don't like it. For some reason, again, it worked for me. Story is Antonio Banderas plays, it's been a while since I've seen it, but he's a wandering nomad. You know, they've given him some sort of Middle Eastern or North African origin. It's never fully explored exactly what he is, I believe. They may go into it in some sort of preamble at the beginning, but that's not the core of this movie. Essentially, he's a traveling nomad. He gets picked up by this group of Vikings, and it transpires that he is what they call the 13th Warrior. And the 13th Warrior is exactly that. He's the 13th Warrior that they need in their group to go and defend this village from monsters and dragons. And it's a it's a fantasy movie that keeps the enemy just outside of your peripheral vision. So you see the enemy, but they're never cleared, but they're always a menace. And but above everything, the interpersonal relationships that the Vikings have with Antonio Banderas' character, I found to be extremely engaging. And this was in an era, I believe, before Lord of the Rings. I may be wrong. If I am, sorry. But if it was before Lord of the Rings, the world needed a strong dose of, you know, fantasy action. It was missing that because people basically just didn't make fantasies enough. But it worked. I've always been drawn to fantasy movies, and this one inherently worked for me. I like the design of the monsters. I like the language that the Viking characters spoke. I like the individual Viking characters themselves. I thought Antonio Banderas played a Middle Eastern / North African-esque character very well, and yeah, the whole thing genuinely worked for me. And again, one of those I don't understand the hate. Okay, my third choice of movies that I love that everyone else hates. Now I'm going to get controversial. Because it's Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Now, I need to tread carefully here because there's a good chance that I'm going to lose subscribers over what I'm about to say. But guys, these videos are about me being honest with you. I don't have my big studio set up. I'm not putting on my normal persona. I'm not going balls to the wall, high adrenaline. I'm just being me, and I'm being honest and open with you. So please don't kill me for that. I really, really like Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. I liked it when it first came out, and I wasn't one of those guys who watched it a few times and realized it was crap. I still like it now. I really still enjoy it now. Yeah, there's a lot of bad in it. I mean, obviously people are going to throw Jar Jar Binks out there, and people are going to throw, you know, the boring political debates that came into Star Wars and, you know, were so prevalent throughout the prequels and ruined them. But I actually think the political side came a lot later in episodes 2 and 3. This one I thought felt very grounded. I liked the pace of the movie. I thought Ewan McGregor was a revelation as Obi-Wan Kenobi. I thought Qui-Gon Jinn, played by Liam Neeson, who I'm not a big Liam Neeson fan, I know, sue me, but never worked for me, but I loved him as Qui-Gon Jinn. You know, little Anakin, what's his name, the actor? I'm blanking here. Guys, comment below, I'm blanking here. It'll come back to me in a minute. But yeah, he wasn't that bad. There were no real other kid actors at the time who you could have gotten. I mean, yeah, sure, you could have done a big casting call, made a bit more of an effort, sure. But I don't think the whole movie was riding on him, and it was because of him that it fell apart. Natalie Portman was great as Padme, as Queen Amidala in that movie. It worked. I liked the way I liked the design of Naboo. I liked the nostalgia that it brought back when you went to Tatooine and seeing Jabba the Hutt again. I thought the pod race was incredible, and it still to this day looks great. I loved seeing, you know, the roots of not the Empire, but the roots of evil, the seeds of evil. I like seeing the primitive side of the galaxy far, far away with the droids. I like the big space battle at the end, and Darth Maul, full disclaimer, Darth Maul is my favourite Star Wars character. But not just based on this movie, but based on the comics, based on what they've done with him in Star Wars Rebels. He is hands down my favourite Star Wars character. Now, that can't be right or wrong, because each to their own. And this is where I might lose subscribers from. And I'm only saying this not because of memory or because of some invalid opinion. My girlfriend, massive Star Wars fan, which is one of the main reasons I'm with her, because we get along like a house on fire. If you're watching, baby, I love you. But the fact of the matter is that she likes to watch Star Wars with me very regularly, and we usually watch them 4 through to 6 and then 1 through to 3, or exactly 1 through to 6 in order. And honestly, the last time we did it, something dwelled on me, and it's gonna kill a lot of people because it's a lot of Star Wars fans' favorite movie. I don't care for Return of the Jedi. I don't think it's a very good movie. And if I ranked Star Wars movies, I would put Phantom Menace ever so slightly higher than Return of the Jedi. I think there's more redeeming factors in the Phantom Menace, like the ones I just mentioned. Obi-Wan as Ewan McGregor, Qui-Gon played by Liam Neeson, Darth Maul, and let's call a spade a spade. Above everything, what do we love in Star Wars? It's the Jedi and it's the lightsaber fights, and it is beyond argument, in my opinion, that the Phantom Menace has the best lightsaber fight of any Star Wars movie. That fight between Maul and Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan, and with that epic score from John Williams, the Duel of the Fates. I mean, what a soundtrack! I get goosebumps just when I hear it now. So yeah, you can hear how I'm rambling on about this. I really, really love Star Wars: The Phantom Menace. Absolutely love that movie. My penultimate choice for movies that I love that everyone else hates is The Hangover 2. And I actually rewatched this last night just to make sure that this did make the list justifiably, and it does. It really does. Is it as good as the first one? No, but in my opinion, it is not far off. It's everything after that it goes downhill. In other words, Hangover 3. But no, I really like this. Now, again, for regular viewers, you would have heard me say this before, spent a long time living in Thailand. A lot of the stuff in Hangover 2 may, if you've never been to Thailand, it may seem like, oh, well, they're just making that bullshit up. A lot of that stuff happens, it was the small details. It was the way they made Thailand feel authentic, like the monks beating them up when they went into the monastery for being noisy. That shit happens. The monkeys dealing cocaine. That shit's true, believe it or not. The Fanta in the bag, the way that you can go to the pharmacies and get a bullet wound fixed for like $6. All of that stuff in Thailand is true. So being someone who lived in Thailand for a long time, I mean, that felt like Thailand to me. It was like, yeah, that's pretty much, you've nailed the feel for Thailand. If it didn't feel real or authentic to people who have never been before, I can assure you that is what Thailand is like. If, you know the underside of it, it's like that too. But I thought the jokes worked. It was a little bit copy-paste from the first movie, yes, but it was in a new setting. And frankly, considering the first movie was so good and the jokes worked so well, I don't really see the crime in doing a bit of a copy-paste, as long as it is in this new setting, surrounded by this new culture and this unknown land that they're in, and the language barrier that they go through. But I loved it. I can't get my head around the hate, and it still makes me laugh to this day. Him getting shagged and brutalized anally by the ladyboy. Funny as hell. The monkey that they have, it's funny. The whole thing works. I find The Hangover 2 funny. I like that movie. Love that movie. And the number one movie that I genuinely love that everyone seems to hate, Alien 3. Now, some people joke about this movie that it's how do they defeat the alien at the end? Oh, they close garage doors. Yeah, that's a facetious way of looking at it, sure. But you can look at any movie in that way and sort of demean what its ultimate, purpose was. I think the fact that it's not, oh, they closed garage doors to beat the alien. Actually, that was their only chance of beating the alien, because the group of them on that prison planet was so vulnerable and so helpless, they had no way else of saving themselves. I actually think there was something almost Shakespearean about Alien 3, and I think it comes in for a lot of hate, and I can't quite get my head around it. Is it very far removed from Alien, which is, almost a psychological horror movie? That alien in the original Alien is, for all intents and purposes, a fucking serial killer. Is it far removed from the action of Aliens, the Space Marines, which we all love? Yeah, sure, it is very far removed from those first two. It doesn't have the action of Aliens, it doesn't have the scares or the iconicity of Alien. I appreciate that. But I think it was a very, very interesting take on Alien, and as I said, I found there to be something very Shakespearean and almost horrifyingly poetic about this group of people trapped on a planet, only having, once again, a female lead who they could rely on, but this time minus the aid of guns. So if you're expecting a balls to the wall action movie, then for sure you're not going to appreciate Alien 3. But I think they were trying, I say it again, I think they were trying to do something very Shakespearean with it, and to make an alien movie Shakespearean, I found that to be a risky and brave decision, very avant-garde, and for me personally, it worked. It really worked. Now, where it went after that with Alien Resurrection, sure, that didn't work. But this worked for me, and I've rewatched it a few times, and yeah, I wouldn't expect my order of preference of the Alien movies to be any different from anyone else's. Most people will put 1 or 2 as their favourite, and then whichever one they didn't pick would be their second. Alien 3 is their third favourite, and Resurrection is their last. And if you want to bring Prometheus and Alien Covenant into it, yeah, we can, but picking the original 4, Alien 3 is exactly that. It is the third best movie, but the amount of hatred that this movie comes in for, I can't get my head around. I really love that movie. Really, really love it. And it felt dark, gritty. I love the take on it, love the characters. It worked. So those are 10 movies I love that everyone else hates, it seems. I appreciate that Star Wars is probably going to be the most controversial selection in that list, but don't hate on me. Just, this is again one of those moments where I'm going to illustrate that we're all different, guys. There is no right or wrong answer with which films we love or hate. I appreciate completely that the movies that I love, I completely understand why people may hate them, but for me personally, they just work. I recognize their flaws. I hope I've highlighted that, but they work for me. So I want to hear down below in the comment section, what are some movies that you guys love that everyone else seems to hate and you feel like you're one person on a very small island flying the flag for said movie? So leave your thoughts in your comments below. Please give this video a thumbs up, share it with any movie fans you may know, share it with anyone you think may be interested, and please, as always guys, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all on Saturday for the 10 videos that I hate that everyone else loves. So until then guys, see ya!